This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
That's what she said.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And welcome to a Wednesday morning edition of the Gary Sutton Show right here on WOYK 98.9 FM and 1350 AM. All brought to you by Einstein and Sparler, attorneys at law. 117 East Market Street right here in York, where they specialize in all kinds of wonderful ways of helping you with the law, like estate administration, estate planning, family law, business law, elder law, municipal law, even military law, and they are ready to help you today. Give them a call today at 717-846-8811 and tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you. Their hours 8:30 to 5. And kindnessworldwide.org. Kevin Smith started that 3 years ago when he had an act of kindness done to him that really kind of hit him. And he has been spreading kindness around the world since then. And we'll be doing that here tomorrow night, by the way. It'll be Pack the Park for Kindness night tomorrow night. And looking forward to being out here with that. And I hope you have gotten your tickets for that. If not, YorkRevolution.com or kindnessworldwide.org, where they have a countdown clock going on there right now until it all starts tomorrow night around 6 o'clock here at the stadium. And one of the things I'm getting to do tomorrow night is an ambassador for kindness. I'm getting to throw out the first pitch, Mark. I've never thrown out a first pitch, so I have to
Have you been practicing?
No, I haven't been. I'm going to have to work today with my golf ball or something. But
here, I would suggest, let me give you some paper, and you throw it into the trash can.
Yeah, I do that, but that's not quite the same. So I'm looking forward to doing that tomorrow night, but maybe I'll throw my arm out. That's the worst part.
Oh.
So we're doing that tomorrow night. You can text our show today, by the way, throughout the show at 833-478-4729, and we welcome your texts throughout the show, and we will get back to you throughout the show as well. And also, you can go to @Gary Sutton Show on Facebook. I did not update my question today. I wanted to leave it for a second day on purpose. Things that you're talking about right now, and I just got done answering a bunch of people who had, put in their thoughts on that. Somebody said, I'm talking about York Revolution. Someone said, I'm talking about all the various fairs and festivals coming up here in the fall, which is always a good time of year for that, Mark, with apple harvest festivals and all that just around the corner. Other people said they're talking about, they're hoping that the war in Iran ends soon. That's one of the things they're talking about. So it was really a wide variety, and that's one of the reasons I left the question up today. I'd like to see a few more comments on that, as we always like to kind of get the pulse of what people are talking about here in our area. We are, after all, trying to be the voice of York and York County, and we are interested in what's happening on the main streets of York County. And so that's always something that's very interesting to us. And you can find that at Gary Sutton Show on Facebook, also Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And don't forget, after the show today, we always podcast our show on WOYK on YouTube. So you can do that and listen to parts of the show again or the whole show if you'd like. Excuse me, I'll share a cough with you. With that, we do want to let you know today is National Potato Day. National Potato Day.
Yeah, we had one not too that long ago. I thought it was last
Well, I
week.
thought so too, but I'll meet you on the couch. Oh, no, that's National Potato Day. And you think about that.
Actually, it's not. Here it is. This is where they play these little games.
Okay.
International, national. This one is just Potato Day.
Oh, so they're playing that game with
Yes.
us. Okay, just Potato Day.
Yes.
Now, the one I had here said it's National Potato Day,
Yeah.
but okay. 16 days until Labor Day weekend, 22 days until the NFL season officially kicks off with its opening regular season game, even though the preseason games are in operation already. But with that, we turn this morning to Mark McKenzie. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello. It is Coco Chanel Day.
Coco Chanel. She was an actress, wasn't she?
No, she was a designer.
A designer.
Designer, and she made, of course, her Chanel number 5, which is still for sale. 100 years later.
What bothers me a little bit is
What's that?
what happened to Chanel 1 to 4?
They were failures.
And I guess so. It's kind of
Boy,
like
this stinks.
an Edison thing. Yeah. You're not going to wear that, are you? Okay, that's number 3. 4, man, you smell like a buzzard on a...
It smells like ranch dressing.
Yeah.
It is National Aviation Day.
Okay.
It is National Hot and Spicy Food Day.
Ooh. Are you a hot and spicy guy?
Oh, yeah.
Do you?
Not too hot.
No.
Not too hot, but a jalapeno, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
They have these, they came out with these new, they've had tuna in a pouch, right?
Oh.
But you like tuna?
Food of Satan, tuna in a pouch. I mean, really?
Yes, I don't care for that. But I think it was chicken of the sea. They came out with a new several like lemon pepper in a can. It's a smaller can, so it's enough for one sandwich.
Yeah.
But they're specialty flavors.
Also known as another way to try to ruin tuna.
So one of them
Mayonnaise.
is Thai chili.
All right.
And when you open the can, they put a little Thai chili right on the top.
Okay.
And I thought, oh, look at the cute little pepper.
Oh, my.
Yes, you don't want to eat that pepper.
Fire.
Oh, my. Was so hot. So hot. So I have bought it again, and I took the pepper out, saying, see, I'm not stupid enough to eat that again.
Oh.
And then, boy, all the tuna around it was still pretty hot. So,
Interesting.
Anyway, I like hot and spicy, though, but not too hot.
I like Texas Pete on certain things, mixed in my chili a little bit, but that's about it. Yeah.
National Soft Ice Cream Day.
Yeah, I'm a hard ice cream man for the most part. Although I will go to Dairy Queen and grab a little soft because that's what they have. So it's not. I'm not going to turn it down.
So many things happened on this date.
Go ahead.
And it just seemed like it was a day for power.
Okay.
Either people deposing other people or becoming kings or,
for example,
taking the throne. Well, I have several of them, but here's the first one. In the year 43 BC, Octavian, who was, of course, later known as Augustus, right, compels the Roman Senate to elect him consul.
Yeah. Heavy on the word compel.
Yes, really. If you don't do this...
The army's on my side.
Yes. On this date, now this is an interesting story because I'd never heard this before. On this date in 1665, they're calling it the most mysterious book. I'd never heard of this. It was called the Voynich Manuscript. It's written in some sort of unknown script or language. And it was turned over to a Jesuit scholar in Prague, and now that book is in Yale University, and they still have not deciphered it.
Well,
they don't know what it is.
Problem is, why would you write a book that no one can read? I mean,
exactly. So there sounds like an interesting mystery for Tom Hanks, maybe.
Kind of a Rosetta Stone kind of thing here.
1692, 5 more people, including John Proctor, are hanged.
Yeah,
after being convicted.
Salem witch trials.
That's correct. In the Massachusetts Bay Colony.
They had one guy that got pressed to death, and I'm trying to think what his name was. And as they put another rock on, they said, "Do you want to confess?" And he goes, "More weight, more weight." He kept asking for. Not good.
Yeah,
and unfortunately for him, they kept putting more weight on until his diaphragm crushed.
On this date, 1793, Philadelphia was the U.S. capital for a while.
It was.
And they had, on this date in 1793, a yellow fever epidemic. Mm-hmm. And it lasts till November. 5,000 people died.
Yep.
That's a lot.
Yeah, those little plagues that came around every now and then and took out the population. 1839,
Louis Daguerre's daguerreotype photographic process. Mm-hmm. They released, the French government released the whole thing free to the world.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Think about that. Yeah. I mean, they could have held it and
someone wasn't trying to actually make money on something.
Yes. So they allowed everybody to make pictures if they could do that properly.
Right.
On this date, 1848, New York Herald, first major Eastern paper to report gold in them there hills.
Yeah.
Gold in California.
Okay.
1859, the crazy French
Which, by the way, on that, the Sutter Ranch was where they found that. And the Sutter Ranch became overrun, and the Sutter Ranch eventually became the basis for what California city?
San Jose.
Sacramento.
Close.
There you go. Which is today the capital, by the way.
The Great Blondin, on this date in 1859,
Okay.
this doesn't even seem possible, crossed Niagara Falls on a tightrope, carrying another man on his shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah. And they did that kind of stuff at that time.
It's
Why would you do that?
They were inventing things
Yeah.
and doing stupid things.
No, right. And this was really dumb. Yeah.
On this date, 1934, the first All-American Soapbox Derby held in Dayton, Ohio. You ever watch it on, I think it's the Ocho?
We used to have a big soapbox derby here in York. Each
really?
year, up there on where Penn State York is, up on that hill, and they would race down that hill on the road. That was a big soapbox, and that was a big deal every year here in York for a long, long time.
On the same date, in the same year, 90% of German voters elected Adolf Hitler president.
Bad move.
On this date in 1953, democratically elected Prime Minister of Iran, Mohammad Mossadegh, is overthrown in a coup orchestrated by the United Kingdom and the United States. We used to do that.
Okay.
On this date in 1960, American CIA pilot Francis Gary Powers, we mentioned yesterday that he was going on trial. It took one day to convict him. He got 3 years in prison plus 7 in a labor camp, but they exchanged him for a captured Soviet spy after about 17 months. So he was lucky.
Yeah.
1991, this is another one of those power play kind of days. Conservative members of the Communist Party in the Soviet Union tried to overthrow Gorbachev in a coup. Remember, they had the tanks in the streets and all kinds of things.
Yep.
Just a couple left. On this date in 2008, Lady Gaga's debut album, The Fame, is released. What she really
Great voice.
created a stir. She was quite a person.
She did. She was different, yeah.
On this date, 2010, Operation Iraqi Freedom officially ended. They gave it another name. I forget what it was. On this date in 2020, Apple becomes the first U.S. company to be valued at $2 trillion, just 2 years after it reaches $1 trillion in valuation.
And of course, we're getting ready to go to $40 trillion at the end of this month, I think.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Finally, on this date in 2023, so just 3 years ago, the Phillies shortstop Trey Turner hits 2 solo homers in the same inning. It was a 12-3 win over the Nationals in Washington. I mean, talk about something hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. By the way, the soapbox derby here in York, I was just kind of interested in this. Look, it started in 1939 and lasted all the way up until, I think, around 2020. But yeah, it was quite the interesting thing. They started in 1939 to 51, excluding World War II years. At Madison Avenue is where they had the first soapbox derby in Madison Avenue. And then it moved to South Queen Street Hill, which would be really a good hill, by the way, 1952 to 59. South Queen Street Hill, man, you get some speed going out there. And then it moved over to the one that I remember, 1960s into the early 1990s, when it ended at Memorial Park Track up there above Penn State York, and Memorial Park. So that's where they had it. But yeah, there you go.
Now, I remember, that's the full soapbox derby.
Yeah.
But I remember I competed where you were in a Cub pack or whatever, or a Boy Scout, and you did the car yourself.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then you rolled those down.
Right.
And you had races and
I did some of those too.
Yeah,
and
I did, yeah.
But this was one you actually rode in it.
Yes, you had to sit in it.
Yeah, now it closed, by the way, following the city's transfer of land portions of the park to the Penn State York campus in October of 1990. So that's why it ended. So I'd forgotten it was that long ago that it actually stopped. But every year they used to make a big deal out of that thing. It's pretty cool.
Kind of sad, but a nice memory.
It is. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got a lot more coming your way, including last night's York Revolution game as they came back home and they played High Point, North Carolina. What happened? Find out next here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Hang on, it's coming. It's coming. Hang on. Here we come. Here come the highlights.
The 2-1. Swing and a drive deep to right field. The streak goes on. It's up onto the clubhouse roof. Nick Dunn with a bomb to right field. And the Revs lead again at 6-4 here in the 7th. 2-1. Swing and a line drive deep left. It is gone. Back-to-back home runs. Brian Ray with a missile over the nemesis. RBI number 100. 7-4 here in the 7th. The Revs' first 100 RBI man since 2019. He's the fourth in Revs history to get there. Home run number 18 for B-Ray.
And that was the Revs highlights last night. That's all you really needed to know. It was 4-4 when that happened. Back-to-back home runs. Brian Ray hitting 100 RBIs for the season, his 18th home run. Really... They were up 4-2. They got tied up 4-4, and then they came out and I guess it was the eighth inning, seventh or eighth inning, and they took control again, 7-4, stopped the 5-game losing streak, and more importantly than that, well, actually, in conjunction with that, Lancaster knocked off Long Island last night 10-2. So the Revs move back up in front here by a little bit more. The standings as of this morning for the York Revolution goes something like this. York Revolution now 28-12. They were up by 3 games on the Long Island Ducks, who are 25-15. So a little order restored there, Mark. As far as the season is concerned, the Revs now are 63-40 for the season, and they are 1 game ahead of the Long Island Ducks for the overall best record of the year. So back up by 1 game there as well. So the Revs will be back at it again tonight. And that'll be 6:10 airtime, 6:30 game time. Darryl Henry will bring you all the action tonight. Of course, don't forget tomorrow night is Pack the Park Night for Kindness. Get out here and support the Revs, but also support Kindness, the initiative for kindness, all started by Kevin Smith, Kindness Worldwide. That'll be going on here tomorrow night. Get your tickets now, YorkRevolution.com. Or you can stop out here at the stadium at the Shipley Energy ticket office and do it that way. Or you can also call it in. 717-801-HITS, H-I-T-S. 717-801-HITS, H-I-T-S. Tonight, you're going to have Julian Costa on the mound again, 7-2 with a 5.06 ERA. A little bit misleading because he's had some really good outings against righty Matt Colucci, who's 4-5 with a 5.49 ERA. It's salute to service with free tickets for all active duty and veterans tonight. Bark in the Park night tonight. Winning Wednesday, presented by the Pennsylvania Lottery, and $5 Wednesday. Tickets are on sale at theyorkrevolution.com right now. And, of course, last night, let's see, other moves. Check this out. Who got the save last night? Cam Robinson. You remember that name from last season? He was the best reliever in the league. Well, the Revs picked him up last night, okay? And he finished the game last night and, yes, got a save last night. Robinson realigned earlier in the day as the 2025 Atlantic League All-Star closer and Revs Pitcher of the Year, picked up his 89th career save and 17th in a York uniform. The former Milwaukee Brewers and New York Mets prospect finished his Mexican League season going 6-1 with 17 saves and a 2.45 ERA after Aqua Scalentes rolled out and I guess did okay this year. But he had after rolling out, a 0.61 ERA for the ALPB champion Revs last season. This guy, Gieber, signed with York after spending his 5th season in the Mets system at AA Binghamton and AAA Syracuse this year. The Severn, Maryland native also pitched for Team Israel at this year's World Baseball Classic. So they picked up this guy, Lieber, last night. I don't have his first name here. I apologize. Anyway, or Gieber, rather, Geber. So he joined the Revs last night. So Dunn's 51 game on base streak eclipses Carlos Franco's previous franchise mark of 50 consecutive games in 2022. Dunn continues to hit the ball really, really well here for the Revs. And there you go. So A lot of stuff going on there, but a big game coming up again tonight is the Rebs. 3-game.
Aren't they all big from here?
Every
on
one
out?
of them. Every one of them is big, and of course, High Point in town for the whole week. So this is game number 2 tonight of a 6-game series. So there you go.
So it's almost like a series. I mean,
it is. I mean, it's like
championship series.
Yeah, exactly. Every one of the, and of course, last year that was the championship series as the Rebs played High Point. But so there you go.
So the big story in Pennsylvania these days isn't the Phillies, the Eagles, the Steelers, none of those things. It is this.
The alleged ringleader of the Penn State fraternity cocaine trafficking ring behind bars. Agostino Abatiello denied bail after turning himself in this morning, one of more than a dozen fraternity brothers charged in this massive drug operation. Police say Penn State pledges were put to work preparing cocaine for the massive operation. Abatiello and Thomas Robinson were the alleged top dealers. Robinson already was arrested for dealing drugs back in 2024. Police say the group trafficked as much as 1 kilo of cocaine at a time onto Penn State's campus, with one pickup costing $22,000, according to court documents.
This guy looks like the original nerd. I mean, this Abatiello guy. He looks like, I just saw his picture here. According to the investigation, the grand jury presentment, Abatiello and Thomas Robinson were the main suppliers, and they apparently had pledges cutting up cocaine as part of their pledge ritual, I guess. But they made regular trips to Philadelphia, New York for large quantities of cocaine. The cocaine was then cut and packaged primarily at the Delta Epsilon and Sigma Chi fraternity houses right there on campus at Penn State, and distributed mainly to Penn State University students. Dave Sunday from York, who is our Attorney General, said we're pleased to report the most significant members of this cocaine trafficking organization are accounted for, and we will have their fair process in court. These are very serious charges. The next steps will be preliminary hearings. Abatiello, Robinson, and 2 others, Mohammed Harabi and Lars Ziepfat, are charged with felony corrupt organizations, conspiracy, dealing in proceeds of unlawful activity, and related offenses. A 5th person, Robert Zanala, is charged with felony conspiracy and criminal use of a communication facility and related misdemeanors.
Cell phone.
The 8 other student-age defendants charged are facing misdemeanor counts of possession and paraphernalia. They are Liam Smith, Michael Brogno, Caton Howe, Connor Hurley, Seth Beardsley, Kyle Ridpath, Daniel Price, and Charles Wiseman, none of whom are from this area. And then Paul Robinson, who's Thomas Robinson's dad, is charged with felony tampering, hindering apprehension for taking steps to conceal evidence, including a safe containing drug and cash, and obstructing the investigation. So he's not in for doing any of this stuff, but he's, they're covering it up and hiding it and trying to make sure his son didn't get in trouble.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. All right. So, it's not the dealing that it's the problem, isn't it? They sold 1 kilo?
Yeah.
Who's buying this? The students, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we got a problem.
Yeah. And the fact that they were using it for pledges to pledge a fraternity. Who wants to pledge that fraternity if that's what you're asked to do? Student Affairs at Penn State, by the way, is also moving quickly to establish additional educational and hazing prevention efforts that can be enhanced during the first weeks of the semester. I pledged a fraternity. You didn't have to do anything like this, okay? And the idea that we need to just have some common sense. Come on. You really need new rules for that? We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got a lot more news coming your way here. That's a big story in Pennsylvania this morning, though, about this drug trafficking thing. And if you'd have seen the picture of this guy, this Abatiello guy, I'll tell you what, he looks like Mr. Peabody. In one of the cartoons. I mean, that's the look. You would never think this guy might have been the mastermind of a drug operation in a fraternity at Penn State, but he is. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got a lot more coming your way here on the Gary Sutton Show on a Wednesday morning on WOYK.
Can you feel it, baby?
Welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK on a Wednesday morning. Now, normally we have Michael Gear in here about this time, but Michael's in a bad cell area today, and so he said he didn't think that the call would probably go too well. So we're just going to keep on hitting you with some of the news stuff that's happening around you. One of the things that came out, we've been talking a lot about this, the whole data center controversy, and how in the very beginning, I think we're playing catch-up on this, Mark, because in the beginning, most people said, well, data centers, yeah, okay, put them in there. We got to have more chips and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden they said, oh, well, it's going to suck out all kinds of power. It's going to be huge buildings. It's going to be, taking up a lot of land. And people say, whoa, what's that all about? Let's wait a minute. Well, that's what has happened now. And now we have our government officials who are going back and saying, let's slow this thing down a little bit and slow walk it. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro signed an executive order yesterday implementing the governor's responsible infrastructure development. They always do these clever little things. It's actually known as GRID, standards, which mandate, and he's not the only one that does it. I mean, all politicians do it, but which mandate local government approval, self-powered clean energy generation, and strict limits on water and electricity usage for new data centers. That was in the Washington Post this morning. And the key elements of the executive order are these. Number one, you have to have a local approval requirement. Mandates that data center developers secure formal sign-off from local municipal officers and officials before the Department of Environmental Protection will review the permit locations. In other words, or the applications rather, which is DEP, Department of Environmental Protection. So you have to have a sign-off from your local people first, local municipal officials and so forth, and which normally means you have to pay them off. So I'm sorry. But anyway, that's they represent us.
Did it say that weren't they using NDAs to kind of keep people quiet?
Nah, I don't know. But
I thought that was part of the deal, too.
But the second one is bring your own power. Requires developers, and this is all part of the governor's thing yesterday, bring your own power. Requires developers to supply their own independent or clean energy sources rather than drawing power off the shared regional electrical grid and driving up consumer utility rates, which is, I think, kind of reasonable, yeah.
It makes sense, but how are they going to do it?
How are you going to do it? Because you get the impression at some point in time, they're going to have to hit into the main grid. I don't know.
That it is a lot of power.
Removal of fast tracking. It eliminates fast track state permitting pathways for AI and data center proposals. In other words, somehow they can fast track those and get by some of the normal things. And the governor says, nope, got to go by step-by-step approval process here. And finally, binding enforcement and transparency. It forces developers to sign legally binding consent orders adhering to environmental, water conservation, and transparency metrics while prohibiting the use of local non-disclosure agreements. So we'll see how that gets abided by. But the governor coming out with this yesterday, known as GRID, the governor's responsible infrastructure development standards, which deals specifically with data centers.
You know, the thing about all this is that it's all connected to AI.
Right.
And AI, as it stands right now, is a bottomless pit for development. I mean, well, at least in terms of money. They're just dumping, billions of dollars into AI, but they don't really have a way to make money at it yet. So that's a concern. And now the next step is these data centers so that the AI can look for patterns in vast amounts of raw data and hopefully come up with, products or advantages, software, God knows what else, in order to become profitable at some point.
Yeah, and where have we heard that before?
Yeah,
with
really.
The internet. I mean, the whole thing is like let's rinse, repeat.
It can, but it can be It sounds like it's an interesting prospect, but the problem here is, I think, some of these guys have a lot of money and they're rushing right in, and investors, they're right behind them. And, sometimes it doesn't work. A lot of the Wall Street activity, which has been very positive this year. I mean, it's up quite a bit for the most part. But it's all based on funneling money and investments into AI. And it's not, maybe we could talk to Chris Markowski about that tomorrow.
Right.
Where, it's not, really producing anything yet.
Right.
They're all making bets. These are all bets. And then the other side of that economic bet is that the government bond payout, the percentage, hit a record yesterday, I guess, for this time in the cycle, the business cycle. And I guess it's a little over 5%, which
right.
is rare. And, that means we're paying more to finance our debt.
Right.
And normally it's a good investment. So why do we have to pay more for that if it's already a good investment?
Yeah.
And that's what people are a little concerned about, that there's some sort of, what would you call it? That terrible nexus that might be forming here between a very one-sided investment on the business side, all AI and data centers and that kind of thing. And then on the other side, I understand, I think the U.S. debt since July 1st through yesterday was up $600 billion.
Right. There you go. There's a state representative named Angie Dixon in Florida who ran for the House of Representatives yesterday.
In the primaries.
Yeah, in the primaries for the Democrats. And she is one of these Democratic socialists. And she had been a state representative. And she had about as much chance of winning yesterday as the man in the moon. Well, guess what? She won. 32-year-old state legislator in a race establishment Democrats had hoped to make somewhat competitive this fall. There was little polling in the race, but many had expected a win by this other person, Vindman, who was a former national security official who testified against Donald Trump during his first impeachment trial. He outpaced Nixon in fundraising by a wide margin, but with 95% of the precincts reporting in, as of this morning, Nixon won the primary by about 11 percentage points. In arguably the most surprising win for a Democratic Socialist candidate this year. Nixon ran on a platform, and here's what she ran on. Universal health care and a $25 an hour minimum wage. That was her platform. Those two things. And she hit it hard. She gained a bit of notoriety after staging a sit-in at Governor Ron DeSantis' office earlier this year in protest against Florida's redrawn congressional map. That incident is set for trial in September, where she is charged with trespassing and resisting an order by an officer without violence, by the way. Nixon is the first black woman to win a major party nomination for Senate in Florida. And this is actually for Senate. And will now face Republican Senator Ashley Moody in a race forecasters rate as solidly in the GOP column.
So that's the U.S. Senate?
U.S. Senate, yeah. Okay. But progressives and DSA activists are likely to spotlight this win as another example of their grassroots strength. So they are, you're seeing some big wins here and there. It's a mixed bag, but I mean, there are some big wins coming out here for the Democratic Socialists.
And the flip side of that is that Corey Mills, who is a Republican congressman, trying to get a third term, but he has lots of ethical problems. I think there was an ethics investigation, or was going to be one. He lost yesterday.
Yeah. By the way, good day not to be a Seattle Mariner, all right, if you're part of that baseball team. The Seattle Mariners seem to have reached the unbelievably place where you're heading nowhere.
Yes.
They lost 22-0 to the Milwaukee Brewers last night. Managerial, and I'm reading an article this morning about it. A guy was writing this piece. He said, managerial malfeasance, an embarrassing gap by a superstar, and in the end, an utter lack of fight that belies the fact that the Mariners are actually in the playoff hunt. So they're actually not in last place by any means, but they're just saying they're good. Doesn't mean they're a good team. They're 59-67. They've been outscored by 45 runs and have a 60-homer superstar batting 157, nearly 50 points worse than the lowest qualified hitter in the major leagues.
Last year he had, 60-odd home runs?
Yeah.
I think he's got 13.
Exactly. Now, he was hurt. In fairness, he was hurt earlier this season.
True.
In any other year, that would typically invite a house cleaning at the trade deadline and perhaps a few rolling heads in management. But so far this year, that has not happened with the Mariners. So we'll see what happens with that. But this writer was writing this morning about just how bad they were. 22-0 loss. Can you imagine that?
They were on NBC has a Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah. And
on primetime. And so I saw that Seattle was on. I thought, well, take a look at that. And I was shocked when the catcher, what is his name? The big home run hitter last year.
I can't think of his name off the top of my head. What's his name?
Yeah, he steps up, and I'm like, they flashed his batting average, 157.
Right.
Oh my
When
Lord!
You're injured as he was during the season, tough to maybe get back on that kind of track. By the way, most Americans drink at least one soda a day. It's associated with this type of cancer. I was reading this story this morning. Cracking open that can of soda each day may be raising your risk of certain cancers. In a study published August 17th in the GastroHep Advances Journal, Mass General Brigham Cancer Institute researchers found that consuming at least one sugar-sweetened beverage per day is associated with more than twice the risk of developing gastric cancer compared to rarely consuming them. The findings were based on decades of data from more than 100,000 people, so not an inconsequential number. Across the United States, 63% of adults aged 18 or older reported drinking sugar-sweetened beverages once or more times a day, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In the study, sugar-sweetened beverages included regular soda, energy drinks, and juice with added sugars. And it's the first study to really demonstrate an association between sugar-sweetened beverage intake and gastric cancer in the United States. So that study out this week. And again, a little more happiness right there, huh?
Got birthdays coming up around the corner.
We'll take all that on when we come back right here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK, where it is 6:48 on a Wednesday morning.
Is it on the list?
No, I like this.
What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Darn it. I thought for sure it was going to be on the list.
No. I like this a lot. It's one
deep.
it's one of those I didn't like in the beginning, but later on came to like.
That's what back when I was
hard driving bass.
Yes.
Thank you. That's what Deep Purple, right?
Yes. I was
there you go.
learning how to play guitar, and that was a real easy song to learn how to play. And the guy who is singing there,
Yes.
that guy, that is Ian. Let me make sure I get his name.
Is it his birthday today?
It is. Ian Gillian is 81.
Happy birthday to you.
No, here's the thing, though, and this is one of the main reasons. Obviously, that was a big hit song, but he was also in the original cast recording of Jesus Christ Superstar. Guess who he played?
Jesus Christ.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's on the cast. He's a
Yeah.
rock star and a rock star.
Once you played that role, do you think everything else has come down?
Pretty much.
I mean, you hit that one, and there's not a lot left.
Other birthdays today. Bill Clinton is 80 years old today. The big 80.
Yep.
Leanne Womack, who had
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to me.
I almost used Leanne Womack's song. Can you dance? Isn't that what it was? I think it was something like that. She's
It all
60.
depends on what is. I don't know.
Kira Sedgwick.
You're just
Yes,
plowing
I
on,
am.
aren't you? You're working hard.
There's a few of them here. And
Please save me. Yeah.
Kira Sedgwick, actress, is 61. She's also known as
Mrs.
Yes.
The guy from Dirty Dancing, I think.
it is
Kevin Bacon.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, I knew you were going to get it.
And they were both taken a couple years ago by, was it part of the Madoff thing? Were they lost money, a
I don't
ton
know.
of money. Yeah, they did.
Okay.
One of the reasons you see Kevin Bacon doing a lot of TV commercials right now.
Kevin Dillon, also an actor. He's Matt Dillon's younger brother. Kevin is 61. John Stamos. From Full House.
Yes.
You know, used to play with the Beach Boys a little bit. They were good friends. He's 63 today, but he doesn't look it. He always looks like, young. Gerald McRaney. This guy.
Oh, yeah.
He always played, for me, what came through was
A support guy.
a bad guy. He always played a bad guy. In Deadwood, he was a vicious. Anyway, 79 today. And two people that were on Star Trek The Next Generation have birthdays today. Jonathan Frakes is 74. He was Commander Riker. And Diana Moldauer, who was 88.
Singer.
She was Dr. Pulaski.
Oh, okay.
No, that was a different Moldauer.
That was a different Moldau,
Yes.
who sang about the camel and the.
Midnight at the
By the way, I was mentioning about Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick.
Yes.
They lost a large portion of their savings when they fell victim to Bernie Madoff's massive Ponzi scheme, which collapsed in late 2008. The couple had invested most of their liquid assets in cash savings with Madoff, though they later recovered a portion of the funds. The actors had a substantial share of their wealth tied up with Bernard L. Madoff investment securities.
Wow.
And when the multi-billion-dollar fraud was exposed in 2008, their cash savings and theoretical investment gains vanished. Bacon has noted that they managed to recover a portion of their initial investment through legal avenues and trustee payouts, but the paper wealth was gone.
Wow.
So they were hurting there for a while. And they both downplayed their suffering, noting that many everyday people and retirees lost far more of their livelihood than they had. But nevertheless, I mean, they didn't panic, by the way. The couple focused on what they still had, reminding themselves they were healthy, had their children,
Absolutely.
and retained the ability to work, which they both have done. So there you go.
So you came up with this new term? What you didn't come up with it, but you saw it?
Let me go find it here very quickly because it was...
did I catch up?
Yeah, you caught me off guard there a little bit. But that's okay, because I did promise that, and I do want to hit it. It was here. Okay, here we go. This is called let me make sure. Resentful martyr. Okay, it's a type of narcissist. Okay. And see if you recognize this person.
Right.
They're so generous. They're so self-sacrificing, or are they? Does someone in your life do a lot of really nice things for you, and yet somehow every kind gesture of theirs feels like it has strings attached? Maybe you know that. One day, this act of kindness will somehow be used against you, maybe as a bargaining chip or as an emotional blackmail. Maybe the gesture is something you didn't even want or ask for. Maybe it even makes your life worse somehow, and yet you know objecting in any way will cause all hell to break loose. If that's the case, you may be dealing with a particular kind of narcissist, one who shrouds their generosity in performative sacrifice and self-serving magnanimity. We're talking about the resentful martyr. So you get a person that who gives you a bag of clothes you have no use for, or some unpalatable food, or make a reservation at a terrible place, but you don't feel this sense that excessive thanks is needed, or that the person would be angered by you saying that you have no need for the clothes. If they do, then you have the resentful martyr. Okay, the resentful martyr and narcissist do things for you whether you like it or not. You're going to like this. That's because their actions really have nothing to do with you at all, and everything you do without getting them praise, attention, and validation, also known as narcissistic supply. They do what they want to do. They make the food they like or that they like to make and bring it to you, filling your fridge with food you don't want and that you don't eat. They may even organize a party for you on a day that is difficult for you to make or plan a vacation at a time you can't go. That's what the resentful narcissist does, or the resentful martyr. And it's a type of narcissism. What makes matters worse is resentful martyrs are tougher to spot than other kinds of narcissists, says Chelsea Brooke, a psychotherapist and the author of If I'd Only Known How to Outsmart Narcissists. A resentful narcissist or martyr is a narcissist in disguise. The resentful martyr isn't overtly loud, flashy, or arrogant. They often appear nice, helpful, and giving. But their help is always on their terms and directly against what you expressly want or need. How about that?
Wow.
Isn't that something? Huh?
That's involved.
Jeff Coleman around the corner. I know he's not a resentful narcissist or a resentful martyr. He does stuff just because he does stuff. And we'll have him up next here on the Gary Sutton Show. We'll find out why he was in Afghanistan last week, of all places. Yeah, in a very dangerous zone. So he's going to tell us that story when he joins us here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. And then Tim Barker tells us more about the Mangione case and about the different kinds of charges that are filed and what it all means. All here on WOYK, where it is 7 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good.
I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
A 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour.
Broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park. Here's Gary Sutton.
And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK on a Wednesday morning. It is August the 19th, 2026. I am Gary Sutton. Mark McKenzie here as well. Coming to you live from Brooks Robinson Plaza right here in downtown York at Wellspan Park, home of the York Revolution, who won last night 7-4 and looking to do the same thing tonight against High Point, North Carolina, as they lead the Atlantic Division, North Division, or Atlantic League North Division right now by 3 games and lead the overall record by 1 game going into tonight. And Julian Costa going to the mound tonight for the Revs, 7-2 record. Hopefully get another win. 6:10 will be airtime. 6:30 first pitch tonight here at the stadium. If you can't make it out here, listen on WOYK as Darryl Henry, the voice of the York Revolution since 2007, brings you all of the live action. The Gary Sutton Show brought to you by our presenting sponsors, Kindness Worldwide. Tomorrow night is Pack the Park for Kindness Night out here at the stadium. All the festivities start at 6 o'clock. I'm even helping to throw out a first pitch. My first pitch I've ever thrown out anywhere, I'm throwing out tomorrow night. I'm probably also going to throw out my arm doing it. But we're going to be doing that tomorrow night. And we're all going to be out here at the stadium tomorrow night having a great time. Mark McKenzie will be out here tomorrow night. You can see him. I'll be out here as well. Kevin Smith will be here. We'll have all kinds of things going on. It's going to be a fun night of kindness along with great baseball, all here at Wellspan Park. So come on out tomorrow night. All the festivities start at 6 o'clock tomorrow. And, of course, on the other side of things, Ann Stein and Sparler Attorneys at Law, our other great sponsor here, who specialize in estate planning, estate administration, family law, business law, elder law, you name it. They are ready to help you. They've been doing that for Yorkers since 1937, and they are ready to help you today when it comes to lawyerly advice, something having to do with legal things that, we all come across, estate administration and estate, handling and things like that, right? And who knows what the heck they're doing. I had to do that one time, and I'll tell you what, it is a daunting experience. So give them a call today at 717-846-8811. They have got a great group of lawyers over there who are ready to help you right now. They're open Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5, and they're located at 117 East Market Street right here in York. You can follow along on our show with our text. You can text our show anytime at 833-478-4729. We'd love to have you aboard and get your thoughts on the show as we're going through on anything that comes up. So you're welcome to do that. And then also you can go to @Gary Sutton Show on Facebook. Now, there's no new question up today, but I left up yesterday's question on purpose because I wanted to get a few more in the smattering of comments that I'm getting about what you're talking about right now. What is most important to you? We have a wide range from York Revolution baseball to all the festivals and fairs that are happening right now and coming up into the fall to ending the Iran war to, you name it. I mean, it covered the gamut. So I'm interested in some of the more interesting comments, and you can add on to that today @Gary Sutton Show on Facebook or also on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And, of course, after the show, if you want to listen to parts of the show again or the whole show, go to WOYK on YouTube. So there you have it. We enter hour number 2 right now. Jeffrey Coleman, who is a principal at Churchill Strategies and also a co-host of Morning Light, was in Afghanistan last week. I mean, anybody else in Afghanistan last week? Nobody I know, but Jeffrey Coleman was. And fortunately, he's back because I got these cryptic texts from him last week. He said, I'm in a pretty dangerous place. Jeffrey, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Gary. Good to hear your voice. Good to be back.
Yeah.
Afghanistan is a beautiful place, but it's a rather intense experience. Rebecca and I just loved our time there, but it's good to be back.
I've got a lot of places on my list that I'd like to go. And I got to tell you, Afghanistan is not anywhere on that list, even remotely. And remote and Afghanistan go together pretty well in the same sense. So what took you? What took you there last week? Tell me about this.
Well, several things took us there. Rebecca, there was a book called Kite Runner that came out maybe a decade ago or so that really pulled her into the story of the Afghan people and their struggles and the beauty of that culture. And then we started having Afghan neighbors, people that moved to the Harrisburg area, started to get to know them and hear their stories, and especially the people that came in the last 5 years who came with a diaper bag, a baby on the shoulders, and ran to the airport and found themselves in Houston, Texas, or Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, or York. And these are some of the most extraordinary, loving, open, caring people I've ever met. I've never met a group of people that lives by hospitality and grace more than these people. I think, when you are an American and you are in Afghanistan, you have the benefit of they have had hundreds of encounters with American young men, especially young men and women, who became best friends with the Afghan people. They know our heart. They know they kind of separate us from the politics and the policy. And when you go there, it's a very intense experience for people who are living there, because they're living under the thumb of a rather restrictive environment. And that's
right.
I'm be careful in how I word that, but it's an experience. Yeah.
So now, you went there. I mean, and when I got your text last week, it said, it sounded kind of scary. I mean, it sounded kind of like really dangerous.
Yeah.
So why would you do that? I mean,
well, we were staying in Kabul, which is a city,
right,
which is no longer the capital. The capital has shifted because the Taliban have taken it,
right.
And so Kabul, but still is the kind of cultural center of the country. So around 6 million people. It's 3,500 or so years old. It's an ancient city. But we were staying at a hotel, and if you Google it, you'll remember it's the Intercontinental Hotel,
yes,
which has seen waves of massacres, attacks
right.
in the years leading up to the Taliban takeover 5 years ago. So it essentially is a Taliban hotel. And, so I was there. Rebecca and I were there. They had about a dozen Russian military advisors there. You had some Iranians arriving. Yeah, so, and then you've got this incredible hotel staff that is the eyes and ears of this building, which is still kind of a 1970s vintage. The King dedicated it in 1968. So what you have is kind of a shell of what it was back then. But you had this anniversary coming up last weekend, the 5th anniversary of the fall of Kabul. So the Afghans call it Black Saturday. The Taliban essentially consider it Independence Day. You really, when you think of Afghanistan, you have to separate the long-suffering people, especially women, from the leadership of the government. I think we do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't, but I think in most cases we do. But when we were talking, I mean, it is a place where, a lot of people were slipping us slips of paper with their contact information and handing us their phone, just said one word, WhatsApp, so we could connect personally. And because you really couldn't talk freely in environments. And then plenty of people that'll come next to you and say, hey, what are you doing here? Well, what's your purpose here? What's your mission?
Yeah.
But then we had another mission. We visited a wonderful hospital for several days called Cure, which stayed. These are people who stayed, and they have supporters here in Pennsylvania, and a big staff of about 350 people. They serve people from all tribes, which is a significant deal. They're kind of an oasis of equality. Half of their staff of Cure Hospital are women. 45% are women, which is remarkable in a culture that no longer allows women to work. I mean, women in Afghanistan are told to stay home, raise children. They may go out to grocery shop if they are chaperoned. But in terms of the professional achievements, they're no longer recognized. It's almost as if there's an erasing going on of one gender and a religious rule imposed, and it's for women the hardest time imaginable. And guess what? There's no escape hatch because we Americans, regrettably, have locked the door at least for the next 2 years.
When you look at the women who work, for example, this hospital you visited,
yeah.
So they're kind of then on an oasis, so to speak. They're allowed to work there because it's a hospital, so there's kind of a set aside here for them. Is that kind of what we're talking about here?
Yeah. The hospital administration has had a cooperative. And by cooperative, I mean they've been helping the Taliban address major health needs.
Okay.
And so they are very trusted. They have a strong reputation, about 350 physicians and staff. And there's the wall, as everything has a wall around it with razor wire. Right outside that wall is the headquarters for the religious police. Right outside are, white Taliban flags lining the street, and there's familiar little Toyota pickup trucks with the guys in the back, and I mean that's their reality. Now, the other thing is there are no bombs. There was, relatively speaking, there was apparently a suicide bomb the day after we left in an area that we had been nearby at a school, but there is relative peace. There's no roadside bombs. People are able to go around. And, this is what our founders warned of when they've traded away, not willingly, involuntarily, they have traded away freedom of thought, freedom to listen to music, play an instrument, freedom to be able to choose where your daughter goes to school, in some cases who your daughter marries, the age of your daughter's marriage, all of those things, they've traded that away for quiet, and it is a quiet city except for engines, horns, and in the morning the dogs bark. But there's no music. I mean, the soundtrack in Afghanistan is off, and there's no dancing. It's indescribable how. But with that, Gary, alongside of that, if you're walking along the street and they saw Gary Sutton, Gary, please sit down for tea. Can we just talk? And they want to hear your story. What's your story? Tell me your story. And when you see that, you go, really? You really want to know? And an hour later, do you have to leave?
Wow.
That's the way it is. It's baked into the culture.
You have the most amazing story of the week, my friend. Afghanistan, and good to have you back home. But, just an incredible story as we find out more about other people around the world and what they're going through. Jeff, thanks so much this morning. Really appreciate the story, and glad you and Rebecca made it back safely.
Thank you, Gary, so much.
Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you next week. Take care. Jeffrey Coleman here on the Gary Sutton Show. How many of you have gone to Afghanistan or a place like that? He goes because of different reasons. He loves to get around and find out about people around the world. If you remember, Jeffrey had everybody at his Thanksgiving table, and there were about 5 or 6 different languages being spoken. That's the kind of stuff that he does, just because. Not for any reason, no monetary reason, nothing like that. When we come back, Keith Rill joins us. He's got some answers to some of the questions you have about Medicare. This hour being brought to you by Your Medicare Solutions. Keith and Becky Rill got that all started. And now Kevin has joined them. And they are the people who are going to earn your trust when it comes to planning for Medicare, Medicare education, choosing the right plan, continuous support. They are your partner in preparing for Medicare, and they are ready to help you today. Now, you can give them a call at Your Medicare Solutions, and we'll tell you all about more on that when we come back here with Keith Rill on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Fox Sports Update.
Another walk-off win at Wrigley.
Drive, base hit center field. Here comes Kelly. Here's the throw to the plate. And caution is in. And the Cubs take round 2. 4-3. They walk it off in the bottom of the ninth.
The Cubs' Alex Bregman with the game-winning hit there on the Marquee Sports Network. Meanwhile, the Brewers launching 4 home runs en route to beating the Mariners 22-0. That's right, 22-0. Tying the record for the largest shutout since 1901. The last team to win by that margin was the then Cleveland Indians. They did it against the Yankees back in 2004. The Brewers have the best record in baseball, and that may just be why. Shohei Ohtani blasting home run number 30 as the Dodgers beat the Rockies again, this time 7-6. Angels over the Astros 3-1. Rangers blank the Nationals 5-zip. Twins over the Braves 4-1. Royals edge the Athletics 4-3. Padres over the Mets 5-2. San Diego's Fernando Tatis, he hit 2 home runs, and if that wasn't enough, he robbed the Mets' Francisco Lindor of a grand slam. Red Sox beat the Diamondbacks 9-4. Adley Rutschman with his first home run as a member of Red Sox Nation. Blue Jays double up the Rays 10-5. Cardinals shut out the Reds 3-zip. Guardians over the Giants 8-1. Joe Adell left the game with a knee injury. That was after he knocked in 6 runs for Cleveland. The Phillies, they are heating up, winners of 5 straight now after beating the Marlins 6-4. Pirates beat the Tigers 4-1, and the Yankees, they beat the Orioles 3-1. Off the field news, the Dodgers placing closer Edwin Diaz on the injured list. You can listen and follow the Fox Sports Podcast. Head over to foxsports.com or, frankly, wherever you go to get your favorite podcast. I'm Frank Lanza.
Get more on the Fox Sports app and foxsports.com.
And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. This hour being brought to you by Your Medicare Solutions, your-medicare-solutions.net. And with us this morning, one of the originators of that website, along with his wife, Becky, is Keith Rill to talk about some of the Medicare stuff that's going on. We want to find out this morning about AEP. 3 letters are going to be pretty important. Good morning, Keith. How are you?
How are you this morning, sir?
Well, I am doing great. Good to have you aboard this morning. The annual enrollment period. See, I learned something. Is fast approaching right now, but it's an opportunity for people who are Medicare beneficiaries to make changes in their Medicare Advantage or prescription drug plan for 2027. Tell us all about it, Keith.
Yeah, well, the annual enrollment period begins October 15th and runs through December 7th every year. And it is the opportunity for Medicare beneficiaries to take a look at their plan options and, try and see if there's a better match for them for the upcoming plan year of 2027. So it's something that all Medicare beneficiaries should be aware of and, keep an eye on. The insurance companies that they're currently enrolled with will send them what's called an annual notice of change every year, which is a summary of the changes to their current plan for the next plan year. So it's going to be super important for everybody to keep a lookout for those letters that they get from their carriers, insurance carriers, and those will be arriving late in the month of September.
Now, one of the things that I often tell people, and I was one of the people that did this, and you know it, because I came to you later on, don't sit pat on what you had and say, there's no changes, doesn't affect me, I have a plan, da-da-da-da-da-da. It goes on and on and on. That's some of the best advice is to go out there and make sure that you get answers because every year changes. Am I right on that, Keith?
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of people do the default behavior, of course, is that your plan will just keep going
right
year after year. And, if you do that for a really long time and your plan has changed year after year, then you run into some potential issues like maybe some medicines that you take aren't covered in the best way.
Right.
Or maybe, the plans come out with a different or a new benefit that you might be interested in or that might be a better fit for you. So it is a good idea to get that plan review and see if there's better options out there that might be able to save you money or potentially get you, different or better benefits for the next plan year.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you from experience, I did that. I called Keith and Becky, and I had a sit down with Keith, and he saved me $1,500 this year on my prescription drug plan. Yes, because and I was one of those idiots that sat there every year. I call myself an idiot, who just say, it's all good. And I was losing money every year. And Keith showed me in about 10 minutes how we could save money. And it's worked out great this year. And I really appreciate it, Keith, beyond what you can imagine. Now, Medicare beneficiaries will receive this annual notice of change letter sometime in September. Is that right?
Yeah, it usually comes between mid to late September. And it's going to be, and look out for it, because there's everybody gets a lot of junk mail.
Sure.
But don't throw this one away, right? But it's going to give you a summary of what your benefits were in 2026 and what those benefits are going to look like in 2027. So that's kind of the trigger for your listeners to say, all right, I'm looking for that plan review this year, to give us a call and get that scheduled and see if there's any better options for you.
And then you get that time between October 15th through December 7th to review that, and they should give you a call. And again, because I'll be talking to Keith again myself here at 717-487-4382 to set up an appointment, or you can go to Rill on email at your-medicare-solutions.net and schedule an appointment now to get ready to talk to them about Medicare. I'll tell you what, if they don't know the answer doesn't exist, because Keith and Becky and Kevin have all found ways to get those answers for people right now and help them. And there are so many people now who are moving into Medicare. It's important. And again, here's something that a lot of people often say, well, how much does it cost me? Keith, how much does it cost people to come and get that advice from you?
It doesn't cost you a thing. I always tell our clients, you get our brains for free, and it can save you money. It can get you better benefits.
Right.
If there's a doctor or something like that you want to see, but you can't do it now because they're not networked with your current plan, we can work through those kinds of things too. So Medicare Advantage, prescription drug plan reviews are what we do.
Your Medicare Solutions, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready. October 15th, if you're on Medicare, you're about to go on Medicare, you need to get the answers to the questions I know you have, because I had a lot of them too when I got on there. And again, reviewing what you have and making sure you have the very best plan for where you're at right now is important. Your-Medicare-Solutions.net. Go in there right now or call 717-487-4382 to Becky, Keith, or Kevin Rill. Or you can text them at 717-487-4382 or go to email at RILL, R-I-L-L, at your-medicare-solutions.net, and check them out today. They are ready to help you, and I'll tell you what, there's nobody better in the area to answer those Medicare questions. Keith, always great stuff here on a Wednesday morning. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Gary.
Thank you. Keith Rill from Your Medicare Solutions, the sponsors of this hour of the Gary Sutton Show right here on WOYK. When we come back, we're going to be checking out the Luigi Mangione case. You might say, well, what about federal law? What about state law? What happens when the two of them intersect? Well, Tim Barker, our district attorney of York County, is going to be talking about that and straightening it all out for you as he explains the law. Next at 7:35 on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
back. The Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK on a Wednesday morning. We're at 7:34, and so glad you could join us here this morning on a beautiful day. The sunshine coming up on the city. And tonight, the Revs are going to be back in action at 6:10. Darrell Henry will have the opening, and then 6:30 will be the opening pitch tonight. And don't forget, tomorrow night, get your tickets right now for Pack the Park for Kindness. Yes, tomorrow night, I'm going to be out here with 50 of my closest friends, but it's going to be a fun night. I'm also getting a chance to throw out the first pitch tomorrow night, the first time I've ever done that as an ambassador for kindness. So an honor to be asked to do that, and looking forward to that tomorrow night. I hope I don't also throw out my arm. Okay, that's kind of part of the whole deal.
So do you you're looking for a fastball to get it there quickly?
I think I'm going to throw a knuckle curve. Yeah, they say the knuckleball is less stressful on the arm, so I think I'll throw a knuckle curve ball. Maybe I'll get a golf ball to throw. That might be easier.
Are you worried about because you probably? I mean, you've tossed balls to people, golf balls.
Yeah, but not recently. I haven't. No,
but not that distance.
No. I'm worried about the catcher having a sting in his glove when I throw the fastball. I just, I'm always looking out for others. I'm really worried the catcher's not going to be able to function in the game then, because he'll say, "Oh my gosh,
do they have one of those?"
I took that 25-mile-an-hour fastball from Gary, and my hand still stinks.
Do they have one of those knuckleball catcher's mitts? It's really big.
Yeah, exactly. The big floppy ones they use for the curveballs. Yeah. Tim Barker is going to be here tomorrow night, for kindness, and he's our district attorney of York County. He joins us here this morning on the Gary Sutton Show. Good morning, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How's it going, Gary?
I'm doing well. I was just saying I'm throwing out the first pitch tomorrow. I'm one of the people throwing out the first pitch. So I said my 25-mile-an-hour fastball. I don't think that'll make much of a dent on the catcher. I'm just saying. My fastball at the very best was probably about 60 miles an hour tops, but there you go. Anyway.
There's nothing wrong with a good lob into the catcher.
Yes, I know. Have you ever thrown a first pitch out yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, neither have I. Neither have I. So I'm going to warm up today. I'm playing some golf with some friends today. I'm going to throw a golf ball back and forth and see if maybe that serves as practice. We'll see. Anyway, great to have you in this morning. I was reading this story about the Luigi Mangione case, which is, again, Mangione from not too far from here down in Baltimore. Famous family down there involved in healthcare, by the way. I think their estate is right there at Hayfield's Country Club. Right there, just off Shawan Road exit. So they're not very far from us. But Mangione, the guy who shot the United Healthcare executive a couple years ago, but he pleaded guilty last week to federal stalking charges. And people were saying, well, why would he do that? But it set off a legal battle over double jeopardy that has indefinitely postponed his New York State trial for right now. What is going on here, if you can explain these different jurisdictions that we have from state to federal and what it's all about?
Sure. And so when we hear double jeopardy, we go right away to federal constitution. We go to the Fifth Amendment, and we immediately think in that terms. The problem is that double jeopardy also has specific definitions within each state. So within Pennsylvania, we have a specific statute that is meant to encompass the principles of double jeopardy. And they happen to roll out slightly different than how the Supreme Court for general principles has rolled it out. And I'll explain it in this way. The Supreme Court, and they reaffirmed it again a few years back, I think it was 2019, in a case Gamble was the name of the defendant, where they reaffirmed what was called dual sovereignty. And so basically where it is dual sovereignty, you have a federal government case, you have a state government case, that the double jeopardy clause does not prohibit each jurisdiction from proceeding criminally. And the reason why is because they are two separate sovereigns. So even though it could overlap criminal conduct, they're not deemed to be the same offenses because they're specific crimes that were created by two separate sovereigns. So here you would have, the federal government, and you would have New York State under pure Fifth Amendment constitutional principles. You would have dual sovereignty apply, and so both could proceed. However, that's where the state statutes kick in. And similar to Pennsylvania, New York has in their criminal procedure laws, they've got two that may be at play here, 40.20 and 40.40.
Okay.
And this is similar to what we have in PA under our Crimes Code, Section 111. And in PA, and I'm going to use this as a parallel, because New York's is actually, it appears slightly broader even than Pennsylvania's. What we tried to do by statute was take double jeopardy principles, but also some other principles that are kind of like subparts. They're terms like issue preclusion, claim preclusion, and basically what it's trying to get at is, hey, if you've got essentially if you've got the same conduct, now not just merely overlapping conduct or some overlapping facts, but you've got essentially the same conduct, and you have also what is essentially, because they utilize something called the elements test for this, where you're analyzing the elements of the offenses, you've got essentially the same proof of facts that you're going to need for each case to go ahead and establish these similar elements. And the purpose of the statutes in the two jurisdictions that they are have a similar purpose behind them, then essentially you cannot bring both of those forward. So a federal conviction in PA would go ahead and would prohibit a PA prosecution under Section 111.
So now, when you look at New York now, and the defense lawyers are arguing that under New York law, the federal guilty plea covering the same criminal transaction bars the state from prosecuting him for murder charges because he confessed basically on the federal side of things. So are they going right now they're postponing that, but do you sense that they're going to get rid of the New York thing here or not? What are your thoughts?
So this is really challenging, and my answer, my great legal answer here is I don't know.
Right.
And part of it is because of how they're going to have to dive into so specifically what the federal charge really was about. You know, he pled guilty to 2 federal charges, and up front, the charge, if it was just of interstate stalking or of cyber stalking, it's an easier argument to make, especially with some of the offenses, of course, murder offenses that are being prosecuted in New York State, to say, okay, they have a different purpose and a different kind of conduct that they're trying to prohibit. Yes, there's overlapping facts. Yes, okay, they're going to have to go ahead and use some of the similar proof of evidence. But here, the federal statutes they charge to get to the life in prison potential sentence included resulting in death. So now the death, that the stalking was utilized to result in death, that actual, causation and death analysis that you would have with murder is now actually a part of the stalking. And so while you could say that the primary purpose of this statute, absolutely federally, is to punish interstate stalking.
Right.
We want to go ahead and make sure that across state lines and that way in cyber stalking, that's the purpose of the offense, and the elements that have to be proved have different aspects to them.
Wow.
And there's more facts federally you have to introduce than you would with the state. At the same time, the argument that they're going to make in state court is going to be, wait a minute here, you've got to prove the causation of death. How is that necessarily substantially dissimilar to go ahead and mean that it's not, the state prosecution would not be a precluded subsequent prosecution because murder, causes death. Now you've got an element of mental intent. Go over to the stalking, resulting in death. There's your causation and your death, even though you're tying it to stalking. So that's
so let me see,
argument they're going to try to use.
Yeah, let me see if I have this right. So I'm going to, because I'm listing this and I'm saying, okay. So the federal guilty plea involves 2 counts of stalking. So during the hearing, he also admitted, if I'm not incorrect with this, that he traveled to New York and fatally shot Thompson outside a Manhattan hotel in December 2024. The state case is different on paper because now the prosecutors there have charged Mangione with murder under New York law and have argued that the state prosecution should be allowed to continue because the charges have different legal elements, which is what you're explaining here.
Yeah.
And Mangione's lawyers say the two cases are effectively about the same criminal transaction, the killing of Thompson, and that allowing the state prosecution to continue after the federal guilty plea would violate New York's protections against the multiple prosecutions. So New York's double jeopardy protections can be broader than the federal constitutional law, which is why this isn't simply a case of lawyers shouting double jeopardy and hoping everybody goes home, right?
Yeah, it is because it is broader. If it were purely a dual sovereignty test, if it were purely that, then both prosecutions completely fine because they're two different sovereigns.
But the federal and the state governments are separate sovereigns, is what you're saying here.
Yes. So if it was pure double jeopardy, but what this really is the state statutes that codify what these other double jeopardy provisions mean within the state. We run through this in PA now, because we have overlapping federal prosecutions with state prosecutions. We actually have in our office, we have designated Mark Monroe as an assistant United States attorney. He's a senior deputy prosecutor in office, but he also is cross-designated to go up and do prosecutions in the Middle District. Dave Sunday used to do that as well back when he was a senior deputy prosecutor and chief deputy prosecutor in the office. And what they get to do is they analyze local cases, communicate with our federal counterparts in Harrisburg, and say, hey, which cases do we want to take federally? Now, we have state prosecutions, and there are federal prosecutions and that get brought. But a lot of times those federal prosecutions will be around specific prohibitions on the ability to have and use firearms that carry with them substantial penalties. And maybe our state action here may instead be for, robbery or something like that. Well, if it was a robbery here, based upon the nature of the difference between the statutes utilized, we can still go forward with that robbery, and we have done so if the robbery is not an element and the type of conduct that is being prosecuted federally, and instead it's really the prohibition on firearms. We famously in PA had a case that really decided a lot of these issues. Commonwealth versus Grossa came out of the killing of a state trooper and the near-fatal shooting of another state trooper off of a kidnapping that a co-defendant did of their son. And the straw purchaser for the firearm, which was the killer's girlfriend, that straw purchaser was prosecuted both federally and in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was for conspiracy charges with the straw purchasing, but federally it was for false information on the purchase of the firearm. She pled federally first, then tried to get knocked out under double jeopardy and Section 111, her state charges, and the state court said no. The conspiracy, number one, the conduct was not, while it overlaps, it was not the same conduct. Number two, it's not the same elements, and the purpose of the statutes are different. Now, they could have stopped at same conduct. The moment that you don't find it's the same conduct and just overlapping conduct, you can stop there. But they allowed both prosecutions. That's the kind of kind of analysis that they'll have to do in the New York court. There is definitely more than a valid argument to say, hey, you get to prosecute on both because, look, the elements of murder, the purpose behind murder statutes is different than the purpose behind the stalking statutes.
I tell you what, I am so glad I am not a lawyer on this one, but prosecutors have until the 9th of October to respond to Mangione's motion. If the state case survives, Mangione could still face a New York murder conviction and a potential sentence of 25 years to life. If his lawyers win, however, the planned state murder trial could disappear entirely. Tim, thank you for explaining this. I know it's complicated stuff. We'll keep our eyes on it and follow up on this later on as well. But really good stuff this morning. Thank you for kind of separating some of the elements here. I think people probably still going, huh? But, we'll figure it out. If you don't know, I guarantee you I don't know yet. But we'll wait and see what happens, my friend. Hey, thanks so much, Tim. Appreciate you being with us this morning here on the show. Always a pleasure having you on Wednesday morning.
Oh, sure thing. Hey, thanks, Gary.
Have a great day. Take care. Tim Barker, our district attorney of York County. I tell you what, Mark, it's amazing what goes into all of this.
Yeah, I was very interested in hearing it because it seemed on the surface like, well, the federal would just actually save the state some money. But,
that's from a common sense standpoint. But common sense and the law don't necessarily always coincide. They don't collide often in the same sentence. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got a lot more coming your way here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. This Van Halen.
Well, he used to lead sing for the Van Halen, but then David Lee Roth, I don't know if he got fired or anyway, he went out on his own, and Van Halen got Sammy Hagar as a
there you go. Okay,
but that was David Lee Roth's one of his attempts at a solo career.
He never really took off, did it?
That song, he had like one or two in a very short period of time, and then it just kind of went away. He's still out there. He's still performing.
There you go. Speaking of a solo career, this guy's career took off. Now, his name is Tom Holland. Now, for those of you who don't know who Tom Holland is, he is Spider-Man, all right? And Tom's, to give you an idea, Tom made $250,000 for his first appearance as Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War. And then he made $500,000 for Spider-Man Homecoming. And then it upped a little bit. He made $4 million for Spider-Man Far From Home. You think that's pretty good. And then $10 million for Spider-Man No Way Home.
No way.
Right? It was Far From Home, then No Way Home. And then Tom's salary alone for the new Spider-Man Brand New Day, $20 million.
Wow.
He gets a percentage of the profits. And since the movie has already made $2 billion, that's going to be in the $100 million range. Wow. So that's quite a raise from the $250,000 he made in the beginning, which was still not bad by most of our standards, right? Mm-hmm. Now, some people are calling Holland the new Robert Downey Jr. You remember he played Iron Man, and he definitely seems to have followed the same path. Downey made $500,000 on the first Iron Man, pulled in $50 million for Iron Man 3 5 years later, which sucked, by the way. Downey ultimately made $100 million for the last two Avengers movies, Infinity War and Endgame, in which he played Iron Man as part of the collection of superheroes there. There's no word yet what he's banking for the next two Avengers movies where he's playing Dr. Doom. So I'll tell you what, being out there as Spider-Man or Iron Man right now, it's paying off big time, Mark.
No doubt about that. And, I would not watch a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
But I saw The Odyssey.
I have another.
He was okay.
Yeah, I have another movie. All right, another story.
Oh.
Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of cities could argue that they're the nicest fan base. And after all, there are loud, obnoxious jerks everywhere. But there's one city that's the polar opposite of that, Philadelphia, and they know it. There's a new Museum of the Philadelphian opening on September 25th, which will celebrate Philly's finest moments of booing, brawling, throwing things, and generally refusing to behave. With Philly's reputation, this place could take up an entire city block, but it's actually a micro museum that's about 300 square feet, and even the creator notes that it's meant to be a little absurd. Exhibits will spotlight everything from a 1866 baseball game packed with pickpockets, gamblers, drunks, and fistfights to the infamous 1968 snowball attack on Santa. There's also Hitchbot, the Canadian hitchhiking robot famously destroyed in Philadelphia in 2015, plus the chaos following the Phillies' 2008 World Series victory. But the real message is that Philly's bad attitude also features a surprising dose of heart. Like when a fan's car was flipped during the 2008 celebrations, Philadelphians raised $4,000 to help, and the victim donated most of it to someone else whose car also got wrecked. So yes, Philly diehards can come off as total blowhards, but it also is a neighborly city of brotherly love, and the museum says that mix is what makes a Philadelphian a Philadelphian. Admission is free, but if you want to check it out, you should hurry. For now, it's just supposed to be a limited time thing, closing on November 1st. That is, unless Philadelphians riot in the streets about it, and then it could be all different. That's out of Philly Mag this morning.
There are 5,000 to 7,000 tigers being kept in the world as exotic pets.
Really? Oh, okay.
And there are only 4,000 to 5,000 tigers estimated to be in the wild. So there are more tigers being kept as pets.
And I'll tell you one place they're not being kept in a Sutton household. We have our own 3 cats, but nothing like a tiger. I just don't do that.
A big one.
Patrick Ball straight up ahead at 8:05 this morning. He's the CEO of LifePath, and we'll talk about some of the things that they're doing right now to help the community of York here. And then Julie Wheeler at 8:35. President Commissioner of the York County Commissioners, will get us updated on what all is happening around York and York County, all here on the Gary Sutton Show. Don't forget, tonight we got baseball, 6:10, Darrell Henry with the opening stuff there at 6:10, the pregame, and then at 6:30, opening pitch as they take on High Point and try to stretch that lead out in the Atlantic North Division. Don't forget, Pack the Park tomorrow night. Get your tickets for that at YorkRevolution.com. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more this hour, brought to you by Your Medicare Solutions. Check them out at your-medicare-solutions.net. It's 8 o'clock.
This is York's only local show on York's only local station. This is the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK.
Listen to your show every day. It's really good. I have you guys on every morning to wake up to.
Gary Sutton, mornings 6 to 9 on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK.
All the things you're talking about are all things we're talking about. It's Main Street America every day.
And you're getting your money's worth.
You're a brilliant mind, tremendous experience. You're great for the community.
The Gary Sutton Show on York's first station, WOYK.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
Now, broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown York studios inside Wellspan Park, here's Gary Sutton.
And welcome back to the Gary Sutton Show, the final hour on a Wednesday morning here on WOYK. This hour brought to you by First Steps Home Services, protecting what matters most. You know, at First Steps Home Services, they believe that every home should be a sanctuary. And don't you believe that as well? And as a father-led general contracting company, they are dedicated to ensuring that your living spaces are safe, functional, and tailored to the family needs. And over 20 years of experience, they approach each project with a commitment to quality and care, making them your trusted partner in home improvements, renovations, and repairs. And I got a chance to see what Will Bennett can do last week at my sister's house, where he did a whole remodeling of her back porch. And I'm telling you what a fantastic job they did. Now, they specialize in emergency repairs, emergency property damage, response, fast, dependable emergency services to secure and protect your home or business after storms, vehicle impacts, or unexpected damage. And they provide emergency board-up services, roof tarping, temporary structural stabilization, and much more. They also take care of renovations and remodeling, as they did with my sister last week, repairs, improvements, and assembly. And their commitment is they pride themselves in clear communication and quality workmanship that ensures your project is completed to your satisfaction. They'll always answer their phone and make sure your concerns are addressed as soon as possible. So they are ready to help you today. First Step Home Services open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 7 a.m. to 12 noon. Give them a call today at 717-443, 822-1739. That's 443-822-1739. You can also find them at firststepshomeservices@gmail.com. Firststepshomeservices.com is their website, and they are ready to help you today make your home the wonderful place it should be. With that having been said, here at 8:07 on a Wednesday morning, we bring in Patrick Ball, head of Life Path right here in York, also the York Fair. Good morning, Patrick. How are you?
Doing great, Gary. How about yourself?
Patrick, if I were doing any better today, it might be you. That's how good I'm doing. So I'm having a great morning, enjoying myself as always. Mark and I are having a wonderful time. Sun coming up over the city. It's just a great day. But it's not always a great day for everybody. I mean, I look at it and I think, man, what a great opportunity today. But sometimes there are people that struggle that aren't having a great day. And how do we help our neighbors? I think that's the chief thing right here. And in your particular case, you guys are doing that all the time at Life Path, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The numbers we're seeing and the numbers of people that we're serving this time of year, and it's basically been all summer, are just incredible. We're seeing families, we're seeing single women, we're seeing single men, just a continual flow of folks that it's very unusual for this time of year for us to have a census that's actually close to our wintertime census.
You know, I was thinking about you guys today a little bit in this segment, and I'm thinking about, it seems to be one of the biggest qualities that you have to have as people that work with Life Path, people that are volunteers and so forth, is the ability to listen. Now, I'm sure you hear tons of stories, and I'm sure you hear all kinds of situations. But I've often said, geez, maybe if you sat down with people sometimes and figured out why they are where they are. And I guess I was thinking about current events right now, and we hear, people are having a tough time making it in certain places, and yet we also read about people are still spending a whole lot of money too. As you listen to the stories right now and the current events that we have about where we're at in this country, what are some of the types of stories that you're hearing, Patrick, out there that are kind of resonating on why people are in some of the situations that they're in, maybe for a moment or maybe even long term?
Yeah, a lot of it has to do, really comes down to lack of affordable housing, right? And the stock that's available or not available. And again, that varies by community, what that dollar amount is, that dollar threshold. But I think when you look around York, again, we're very fortunate in LifePath. We have fantastic relationships with a number of private landlords, and we're able to place people. But that inventory is tough, right? The average wait time to get into some type of an affordable housing situation could be up to 90, 95 days, and so you're talking about 3 months till you can find a place. And it's supply and demand, and a lot of it's market driven. But you make a good point when you talk about either stagnant wages or folks that are working multiple jobs and still not able to make it because of increased cost of groceries, increased cost of gas. All of those things contribute to it. And then you start layering in, well, your rent's going up $100, $200, $300 a month.
Right.
Especially for the folks that are retired, over 65, over 70. They don't have a way necessarily to go out and make another $200, $300, $400 a month, which puts them in a real bind, right? And so we've seen and have seen this as a trend over the last few years, but as a percentage, a pretty significant growth in that 65-plus category.
Patrick, one of the things that I hear people say from time to time, and I've had people come up and say, you have Patrick on all the time, you have LifePath on all the time, you talk about that a lot, and we really appreciate the work they're doing. But then they'll say, a lot of times we'll see people out during the course of the day who are, for lack of a better term, panhandling, or people who are collecting money for various things and so forth. And we think to ourselves, this is what the person said, why aren't they out just using this time to get a job right now? You hear a lot of that. I'm sure you hear the same things I hear. And people are saying, I'm hesitant to help because I'm thinking they could be doing, what they're doing right now. They could be working somewhere. They could be trying to find a job and so forth. How do you respond when you hear people who are going to be critical in that regard? Because it probably is a valid concern from where they are in their situation, and yet at the same time, maybe it's different for the people who are going through that right now. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think a lot of that, all of it is your perception, right? Your perception is your reality.
Right.
And so, the person experiencing those tough times, that's their reality, and that's what they feel they need to do. And, for whatever reason, they may not be equipped to hold a job. They may not be equipped to seek the help that they need. And so, I think when you look around and you see people in that situation, again, everybody's got a unique story.
Right.
And there's definitely a person, somebody's parent, somebody's brother, somebody's sister, and a story behind those activities. But I think it's understanding the root cause, which is ultimately what our case managers try to get to, is what got you here, and how do we address that root cause so that you are capable to move on and be self-sufficient, right? And a lot of it comes down to if they're not willing to do that, to put in the work.
Right.
There's not a whole lot that we as an organization or even as a community can do, right? And so for some people it takes them longer to get there. For other folks, they never get there. And for some people, they get there really quick. And it's just, again, it comes down to that individual and those individual circumstances. And, we certainly understand, where that perception comes from.
Yeah.
But we try to do everything we can to sort of change the stigma associated with that, right? That
right.
There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and you got to try to understand what that stuff is.
Well, and that, what you just said is so important. You talk about case managers. A lot of people have the impression that, well, that's just a rescue mission, and that's not it. It's a much broader kind of look at things, from medical services to religious kinds of things to education to getting a job to understanding, how people are in the straits that they're in at that particular moment and how to help get them out of that, to, food insufficiency, to all kinds of things. I mean, so you're a wide-ranging kind of look when you get into that moment. And I had a chance again and I would encourage people to go take a tour of LifePath to see all the things that they do, because you have people that are providing so many more opportunities for people, especially who are willing to kind of grasp on opportunity, who don't, there's this assumption that people want to be in that situation. No, I mean, and most people probably don't. And one of the things you've told me that astounded me is the people who were in middle-class situations who all of a sudden find themselves there and don't know what to do. And so they're looking at, okay, how do I get back to where I was? How do I find a job opportunity again? Maybe I was downsized. Maybe I was let go, whatever it might have been. And how do I find my way back to where I was? And maybe some guidance is help there. And you have people to help guide people into those job situations, as well as other kinds of things that might affect them in that moment.
That's right. The connection and support services that we have with people and organizations around the community is pretty deep, right? And so I call it the, hey, I got a guy, right? And so
right.
Whatever your issue is, we got a guy or
right.
a gal that can help. And we obviously can't do this alone. We focus on what we do well, which is food and shelter, and then we provide those connections to those support services. But our case managers do a phenomenal job of digging down to that root cause to figure out what it is you actually need, and then going out and leveraging our network and connecting you with the help and the support that is required to help address that root cause.
Patrick, let me ask you one final question this morning.
Sure.
As you get out around and people talk to you about LifePath, and you're saying, okay, if there was one thing I wish people could understand about LifePath and organizations like you that they don't understand, what would that one thing be?
I think it is what you said. I think it's the multidisciplinary, community collaborative approach that we take to addressing the situation of homelessness, that it's not just soup, soap, and salvation as the prior models were, right? That it's a very comprehensive social services organization that, again, has a lot of professionals doing a lot of great work with folks who, in many cases, are at the darkest point in their lives. And we take real pride in that. And I tell people I have the easy job, right? I get to talk to you and others, and
you think it's easy talking to me?
Absolutely.
No, go ahead.
But our folks who are face to face with these individuals, hearing these stories day after day, they're the ones that do the real work, right? They're the ones that do the tough job, and it can't happen without them. But it's an amazing team that we have. But I think really just understanding the comprehensiveness of the services would be my wish.
Right. Well, we're talking about kindness tomorrow night and Packing the Park for Kindness here tomorrow night. And I can't think of anything kinder than to help your neighbors and your guests that come to you in need of help at a moment. And I think that's one of the things that I'm most impressed by is the many different ways you help them. But you don't just, it's a hand up. It's a hand to say, okay, we're going to help you out of this situation. Here are some of the resources and services that we have. And yeah, we know a guy in different places, but it's more important than that, too. We have organizations that you partner with who are going to help people to step into a better situation in the long run. And that's certainly the aim of LifePath. You can find them at LifePath. Just go Google them, and they have all kinds of services that they offer to their guests and to people here in your county. It's so important. Patrick, always appreciate you being with us here on the Gary Sutton Show, and looking forward to next Wednesday when we talk again, okay?
All right. Appreciate the time, Gary. Thanks so much.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great day. Patrick Ball of LifePath right here on the Gary Sutton Show. Hey, don't let your battery stop your trip. A lot of you are taking trips right now, and you're getting out there and going on vacation. A lot of folks think batteries only fail in the winter, but summer heat can be just as tough. That summer heat can really wear your battery out. And if your car cranks slow in the morning, or you've had even one kind of weird, odd start, get it tested right now. Jack G. and Balbo family of dealerships can check it quickly so you're not stuck somewhere you don't want to be. Because Jack G. and Balbo wants to be your perfect road trip companion during the summer. I mean, right now they've got pre-owned cars for you, SUVs for the family, trucks for adventure, sedans for the daily drive. Wherever the road takes you this summer, they've got the vehicle to get you there. And with their hassle-free, pressure-free approach, it's easy to find the one you love. You can find them right now at GMBalvo-preownedinventory.com. And I'll tell you what, when you go to GMBalvo-preownedinventory.com, what you're going to find out is they sold 4 more cars yesterday. That's right. Only 274 used and certified used for sale right now. But more importantly, at GM Pre-Owned, when you buy pre-owned vehicles, free lifetime PA state inspections for you and everyone in your family. Plus, they got a 3-month or 3,000-mile warranty, no cosmetics. They have the first oil change is free on them. They have financing solutions for you, and they've got newly inspected vehicles that go through a rigorous inspection before they are ever put up on the market. There are no as-is vehicles. You got none of that at Jack Giambalvo. You know why? Because Jack Giambalvo, when he started this whole thing 50 years ago, wanted to make sure that he could look at you in the community and say, yeah, I've got the very best product out there for you, whether it's pre-owned or new, and that's what he's been doing for 50 years. And John Giambalvo is carrying on that credo right now. GMBalvo preownedinventory.com is where you can go right now to find all the various vehicles that are available for you. And man, what an array they've got at their 6 great locations. Check them out right now, GMBalvo preownedinventory.com, and then head on out to one of those 6 great locations and get your car, your truck, your SUV, your Jeep, whatever you're looking for right now at the best prices. And remember, no hassle, worry-free. They're there to help you. They've been doing it for 50 years, and I'll tell you what, they got a track record that talks about excellence. Jack Giambalvo, family of dealerships. Check them out today at GMBalvo-preownedinventory.com, and then tell them Gary Sutton proudly sent you when you show up at one of those 6 great locations in Hanover and York.
2-1. Swing and a drive deep to right field. The streak goes on. It's up onto the clubhouse roof. Nick Dunn with a bomb to right field. And the Revs lead again at 6-4 here in the 7th. 2-1. Swing and a line drive deep left. It is gone. Back-to-back home runs. Brian Ray with a missile over the nemesis. RBI number 100. 7-4 here in the 7th. The Revs' first 100 RBI man since 2019. He's the fourth in Revs history to get there. Home run number 18 for B-Ray.
And Nick Dunn with his 90th RBI, and he's hit now in 51 straight games, or on base in 51 straight games, not hit. That's Joe DiMaggio numbers. But 51 straight games he has been on base. Or is it 53? One of those two. Anyway, the Revs back at it tonight. They are going to send Julian Costa to the hill. He's 7-2. Looking for another Revs win tonight. They expand their lead now to 3 games as Long Island went down to Lancaster last night, 10-2. And the Revs have the best record in the Atlantic League by 1 game right now, trying to restore a little order after a 5-game losing streak. And they did exactly that last night with that 7-4 win. And, Brian Ray with his 100th RBI last night. What a season he's having. 18 home runs. He's, I think he's leading the league right now in hitting, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot going on there. Hey, I saw something today. As I go through and prepare in the morning, this survey came out. And it's kind of interesting. What constitutes cheating on a significant other? And there's a new relationship survey that has a ranking of the 10 acts that should count as cheating, at least according to most people. Here's the rundown. Keeping an ongoing flirtatious text conversation with someone. 41% of people agree that's cheating. It's kind of hard to argue with that, yeah. Number 2, talking with one person late into the night, hiding it from your partner. 40% said that's cheating. Number 3, maintaining a dating app profile just to look or for validation. 37% said that's cheating. I think so.
I agree.
Keeping someone in your phone under a fake name. I think we can count that as cheating. 37% said that. Deleting messages so your partner won't see them. 36% said that's cheating. Number 6, keeping in touch with an ex without telling your partner. Your partner probably wouldn't appreciate that. 36% say that's cheating. Secretly meeting someone one-on-one, I think that's a big yes. 36% said that. Having a secret friendship your partner doesn't know about. 34% said that is cheating. Number 9, fantasy messaging. Like saying stuff like, what if we were single with someone? 36% or 33% say that's cheating. Number 10.
So not a majority.
Sending heart emojis, compliments, or inside jokes to someone in a romantic way. 33% said that's cheating. Now, here's one that isn't on the top 10, but it seems to me they should be high on the top 10.
Okay.
Sending someone nude pictures, even,
my gosh.
even platonically.
Platonically?
It missed the top 10. How did that miss the top 10? Oh, my good grief.
Platonically?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, really. I mean, yeah, honey, let me explain. You're misunderstanding.
It was. I was asking if it looked infected.
Yeah. Well, yeah, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, do you see that mole? No.
Does it look like...
no, you're not getting out of that one.
Does it look like Tennessee?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, did it look like Tennessee? Remember when Gorbachev had that thing in his head?
Yes.
It's right here on... Yeah. Anyway, overall, 15% of Americans who are married or in a relationship admit they do have romantic feelings for someone who isn't their partner. 15%.
Is that insignificant, do you think?
Well, to me, it is. But they say it's more common among Gen Zers, who say 31%, and millennials, 21%, than older adults.
Just another reason not to like them.
I know. Just that's from Talker Research, so I know it must be true. Anyway, Julie Wheeler, just around the corner here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. She's going to update you on what all is going on in York County. But I do want to remind you that this hour is being brought to you by FirstStepsHomeservices.com. FirstStepsHomeservices.com. I'll tell you what, if you're looking around for someone who is going to do a job for you, it's Will Bennett. Will Bennett
knows how to do emergency repairs, renovations and remodeling, repairs, improvements, and assembly. And their commitment is basically clear communication, quality workmanship. That means they're not going to leave until the job is done. And they always answer their phone, and they are ready to help you today. It's a father-led general contracting company dedicated to enhancing the safety and functionality of homes across South Central Pennsylvania. They got 20 years of experience. And Will Bennett is a husband, a father, and the founder of First Steps Home Services, LLC. His faith and his family are the foundation of everything he does. And he named his company after a child's first steps. A moment full of hope, excitement, and fear. They bring that same care to every home, helping families feel safe and confident. And he says he personally makes sure every project is held to the highest standards. From start to finish, he'll be involved either by walking sites in person or a call away. He'll do it himself. He protects what matters most is your family and your home. Monday to Friday, they're open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. They're closed on Sundays. But you can call them at 443-822-1739. 443-822-1739. You can email him at firststepshomeservices@gmail.com or check out their website at firststepshomeservices.com. That's firststepshomeservices.com. Will Bennett is ready to help you and make that house look a million times better today. Just give him a call today. Will Bennett and all the good people at First Steps Home Services.
You know, I had forgotten that Julie Wheeler's birthday is coming up on Friday. And she's up, I think, in Saratoga, New York. She's going to a horse race or something like that.
Yeah, because she was.
Yeah, she loves
we talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, she's very much into that. So she will not be with us this morning here on the Gary Sutton Show. I think we'll just end the show early. No, actually, no. We're okay. We always plan for these kinds of things. We are semi-professionals after all.
We have more stuff than you can imagine.
We got more stuff here than it's really even fair to have on a show. Frankly, I mean, I just we just had those. The little thing about the cheating and all that. But we do have news you might have missed this morning. Yeah, news you might have missed, and. We have different things here. Today's National Potato Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yummy.
People don't know if it's a potato or a vegetable or not, and they don't really care. They just want to eat it, okay?
Yes.
You think about a potato. I mean, how many different ways do we eat it? How many different ways can we find to enjoy it?
I like just about every way. Boiled potatoes, not so much.
Yeah.
But if you boil them, you can mash them.
Right. I saw the insiders say the USS Abraham Lincoln has leaks, faulty equipment, and low morale. Same responded every middle-aged man. So that we all have the same kind of thing. Yeah. Leaks, faulty equipment, low morale. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Not something you're proud of, but there you go. Let's see. President Trump's poll numbers are lower than ever, which means his ability to ignore polls is higher than ever. So that's which he is kind of doing. 33% yesterday. Osaka, Japan was named the most attractive city in the world. And coming in dead last for the 35th consecutive year, Camden, New Jersey. They're not
hard to. Yeah.
Not a very nice place.
If you went once, it's enough.
Let's see. Internet-enabled cat feeders shut down across the country. Cats were irritable, foul, and violent, and then their feeders shut down. So that's unfair. Our cats they're not like that. Our cats are very affable.
Are they
friendly? Well. They tolerate us,
Yes.
And it's time to feed me. Let's go.
Yes.
They come in, but they're pretty good. Our cats. See, I have been on a mission for years to teach our cats how to be dogs, to get the right kind of attitude. So they meet me at the door.
Nice?
They don't sit on my chair. The one used to, and we had a little, person to cat talk, and I said, "This is not a place. This is not yours. You can't claim that." And then one day I went in, he was still there, but he got off real quickly. It was like, "I'm just keeping it warm for you, Dad. That's all." It's So I mean, I think I have done my part to get better attitudes among cats here in this country, and at least the three in our family, and they understand, who the boss is. It's their mother, Debbie. She's the real boss. I mean, I've tried to do that with her for a while, and I've failed miserably. But she likes to she has a great way of letting me think that I somehow am in charge of anything in my house, which I'm not. But she makes me feel like she hands me the remote when I come in.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she kind of rolls her eyes and laughs, and
Yeah, I know that.
Google spent $10 million, by the way, to buy corporate data from Spirit Airlines. They're using it to train their AI on how to market to customers with really low standards. So that's what they're doing right now. Let's see. Police busted a cocaine tracking operation involving two fraternities at Penn State University. So much for higher learning. Okay, I mean, I knew textbooks were expensive, but come on. I mean, hey, Mom, Dad, I had to sell the cocaine because the textbooks were, A bear broke into a Kentucky home and ate leftover KFC. So now we know for sure that they poop in the woods. So does a bear do that in the woods? Yeah. There it is. Here we go. A person in Norway was arrested for waking a polar bear with a foghorn. He was charged with one count of being way too Norwegian. Okay, that's what they said. Yeah. Let's see. Taylor Swift and Madonna led the nominations for the MTV VMA Awards, or as I call them, Tay-Tay and Gram Gram. Okay? Ironically, if you want to watch any of the nominated videos, you have to go somewhere other than MTV.
Really?
Because it's not really around much
They don't
anymore.
do that anymore.
Yeah. Let's see. We'll skip that one. We'll skip that one. Let's see. Fast and Furious is celebrating its 25th anniversary. The franchise is also celebrating its third plot. Okay, so
Really?
yeah. Let's see. Vin Diesel says reading the script for the latest Fast and Furious movie made him cry. I doubt that's true. You know that Vin Diesel can read. I mean, he can read, yeah. Columbia House is shutting down, and now act now, and you can buy 12 pieces of their discarded furniture for a penny. Yeah, you can do that. Let's see.
Did you ever do that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, me neither.
Let's see. Peacock is raising its prices. That's bad news for their subscriber. They're one subscriber. Peacock,
subscriber.
Yeah. And let's see. The founder of ESPN has died, Bill Rasmussen. He leaves behind 3 kids, 7 grandchildren, and 42 ESPN networks. So that's what he's left behind. Yeah. Scott Rasmussen, his son, was a guest. I have to get Scott back on sometime. Was a guest on our show.
He was the one that had the poll.
He had the Rasmussen polls, but he also helped his dad start ESPN right there in Bristol, Connecticut. So I was at ESPN one time, by the way, when they just were in Bristol. It was pretty much where they were, and you could have gone by the building. They had some
right
satellites, some satellites out there in their satellite farm. But you went inside back then, and I took a tour, and it was interesting. Carl Ravitch was a friend of mine from the days when he was down at Channel 27, and he took me on a tour of the place and showed me the studios and all the stuff. They had people. One of the things that was really interesting about ESPN back then, Mark, and I don't know if it's still true. They had interns who would work for 6 months, and then they'd either hire them or fire them. I mean, it was that plain and simple.
Wow.
But you'd watch people putting in like little subtitles on an ESPN, like you're watching on TV, and the subtitle comes on with the name of the person and what they did. I was watching people put that in while I was standing there. It was really kind of cool. And then watching the hosts on the set down there, they're giving little cards ahead of time, and they're reading the thing off, and it's just a fascinating outfit, and that was in its early infancy.
Did it live up to your expectations? I mean, when you were you had expectations, obviously viewing the network.
It did.
So then, when you went in, and did it match up?
It did, but it'd be like people coming in here. People have expectations of what we do every day, and then they come in and they see how kind of mundane some of it is in terms of what you have to do.
Yeah, radio is a little bit different.
It is.
TV, you're already seeing that on your screen. Here, it's all audio, and they get a particular. I know the first time I went into Q106 back in the day, it was the big station in the region, and I was interviewing there, and I had all these ideas of what it was like, and it was an S-hole. That's what it was. It was terrible.
And the same thing there is that there are people that do different things. The one thing that most impressed me, though,
what's that?
They have a manual that comes out every day that I'll bet you is 3 inches thick.
Wow.
On Major League Baseball daily, on stats, and I mean, I looked at this manual. It was incredible that anybody compiles that. Now, obviously, they're changing little things each day now, and I guess with all the computer stuff, I'm sure maybe I don't know if they have the manual or they just have maybe a program that they go into. But it was astounding to see all the stuff they have available, and I imagine they have that on the other sports as well on a daily basis now. So you think of all the sports there are and all the entertainment stuff there is, and they've got a manual out there on each one of those on what's going on up to the moment that day.
Now, I'm going to say this. When your expectations are not met on a television channel,
right?
You've already had a chance to see it. So when you go there, you're probably going to match up. But when I described radio,
well, the Mackenzian expectations are pretty high
that
level.
Might be, but here's the thing: it's a compliment. It's a compliment that I was disappointed.
Yeah,
and you might say, well, how is that? It was like, well, I thought just by listening, it was the only evidence I had, just by listening, that it was this great place in it, and all the sound effects and the just the whole attitude of the station and everything. And then when I walked in, they literally had carpet remnants.
This is it?
Stapled onto the walls. That's how that was their sound deadening stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I will say there was one station, Susquehanna, was the one station where it was so, from, an eye point of view.
Right.
You just, wow, what a place.
Now, you walked in there and you just felt like, well, okay, this is pretty cool.
This is the place to be.
I remember I did my show at CBS Studios in New York City, at CBS. And I was up there to do, I was doing a walkthrough for a national political convention at the Madison Square Garden. So I got an invite to go to the walkthrough, and a friend of mine arranged for me to do the show through West One Studios at CBS in one of their studios. So I go in there, and I'm thinking, man, I'm CBS Studios. I walk in, there's a room that you can maybe fit two people in if you're lucky, like a cubicle. I mean, it was a cubicle.
Yeah.
And they had two microphones in there, and that was it.
Yeah.
And outside of knowing you were in the CBS building, there wasn't a whole heck of a lot going on.
Yeah, there's nothing else you need, so...
They're going like, here it is. Go in there, do it.
Right.
And you said, okay, thanks so much. But the glitter of CBS... Now, I did walk into another studio later on where, and I've told the story before, where Lionel Richie was doing the interview. I walked into by accident. I did a pirouette and stepped out. But that room even wasn't that big a deal. And that was being done on live radio at that point in time. So I met Lionel Richie for, we got a relationship. I didn't even meet him. We made eye contact for maybe a half a second.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he remembers that. I remember walking downstairs. His limo was sitting out front. That was basically it. But that was my brush with another brush with greatness for all of. I'll bet you it must have been 3 seconds until I got out of that room because the guy said, "Oh, by the way, they're doing." I said, "Really? They're doing an interview in there? You could have told me that." They didn't have the light on for the mic was on. Anyway, I do want to tell you, you're gonna have a brush with greatness today. They have a big contents from a storage unit that they're going to be selling this afternoon at 4 p.m. out of Thomasville Country Auction.
Is Geraldo going to be there?
Geraldo Rivera. Here's the difference. At Thomasville Country Auction, they have stuff that they actually have there to auction off. Geraldo opened up Capone's thing, and there was nothing in it. But out at Thomasville, there's always something in it because Jack and Cheryl Hooks make sure of that. And today they've got this contents from a storage unit sale, estate coins. They have coins from an estate, a 1973 Thanksgiving silver bar, Mark. Foreign coins, 21 $50, 1890 silver coins, 1937 silver coins, nickels, wheat cents, foreign currency. Now, I am no coin expert, but if you want to see all the various ones that are up for sale this afternoon, go to ThomasvilleCountryAuction.com right now. Hit auction dates on the left-hand side, August 19th today, and you will see every item that's up for bid this afternoon. And it's not just coins. They got 2 bikes. They got tools, garden tools, CDs, folding chairs, pocket knife, hunting knife, toys, glassware, patio table, umbrella, 4 chairs, a crossbow, BB guns, all of that, plus much more available this afternoon. And if you're looking to have your own sale, you're moving, you're downsizing, you have an estate sale to take care of, Jack and Cheryl Hooks are the people to do that for you. They've been doing this for over 40 years. And ladies and gentlemen, you call them at 717-764-5403. Invite them out to your home. They'll go through all the items with you. They'll answer all your questions. They will make sure that every myth is dispelled. They'll tell you what sells, what doesn't sell. They'll tell you all about it. They'll even haul the items from your house to their auction house and then get the right sale or multiple sales that will get rid of all those items that you wanted to get rid of. And if you're looking to sell your real estate, Cheryl Hooks can sell your real estate and save you lots and lots of money. Ladies and gentlemen, they're your one-stop shop for a sale. Jack and Cheryl Hooks. Call them today, 717-764-5403, or better yet, get on out there this afternoon to the sale. It starts at 4 p.m. It's at Route 30 west of the railroad tracks in Thomasville.
Welcome back. The Gary Sutton Show here on WOYK. Is that Alice Cooper?
It is Joan Jett.
Oh, Joan Jett, okay. Who looks like the female Alice Cooper.
I hate myself for loving you.
Baltimore native.
And this is the last bumper music from 1988. We start with, we're going to go back to 83 next week.
She's a rock and roller.
Mm-hmm.
She's a big Baltimore Orioles fan, by the way. Did you know
I didn't know that.
Oh,
no.
she's big. And she was on a couple broadcasts last year, and, man, she could tell you all the players and what's going on, what the record is day to day. Sings the national anthem every now and then down there. Oh, yeah.
No, today is Wednesday, so we'll start 83 tomorrow.
There you go. The Sacramento Zoo announced the arrival of 3, and I've never heard of these before, hero rats. Hero rats, also known as African giant pouched rats.
Oh, great.
African giant pouched rats are a special species of rodent trained by the nonprofit organization APOPO, A-P-O-P-O, to sniff out, check this out, tuberculosis, landmines, and trafficked wildlife products in parts of Africa and Asia.
Not in that order.
Talk about wild. Guests can see one of the new hero rats on Thursday starting at 9:30 a.m. in its brand new habitat, featuring an interactive play structure near the African cheetah habitat.
Wow. So if the rat sniffs you and backs away,
maybe not.
You got one of 3 problems.
One of 3 big problems, yeah. The Sacramento Zoo CEO, Dan Simon, will unveil the habitat and speak about the new partnership with the Popo. The Sacramento Zoo's ambassador animals team will then demonstrate the hero rat's abilities in the zoo's amphitheater around 10:15 a.m. So if you want to run out to Sacramento, there you go. This demonstration is training for eventual daily hero rat shows in the amphitheater that will show our rats work through a maze wall to detect a new scent. So apparently their ability their scent ability is incredible. The rodents will work alongside the zoo's education program to teach the public about the use of illegal wildlife trafficking and efforts to stop it. We're so excited to bring these heroes. Never saw heard of rats as heroes, but these heroes and their critically important conservation message to zoo guests. According to officials, the first 500 guests will receive a free, exclusive hero rat sticker.
All right.
I mean, I might fly out there just for that alone. Hero rats are solitary in nature, and the 3 rats will rotate between a public habitat and 2 behind-the-scenes habitats with our other ambassador animals. There you go.
Well, let's get an update on how Americans feel about gambling. Mostly, they like it because, they're gambling quite a bit these days. But it is an update, new poll results.
A Gallup poll shows 45% of respondents had taken part in one or more forms of gambling over the past year, but that's down from 64% a decade ago and 63% back in 2007. 31% said they buy state lottery tickets. 14% say they had been to a casino. 7% had bet on professional sports. The poll comes as we've seen a rise in prediction market platforms like Polymarket, which allows people to place money on the outcomes of multiple events, from elections to wars to sports. Now, prediction markets claim they are different from traditional gambling.
Here's the question I have. I mean, how many people are really being, only 7%? Are using those apps?
Really?
I don't know if I believe that.
No, I don't know either. By the way, a new report just came out, and if you spend enough time on the road, you probably have some opinions about drivers based solely on what they're driving. And not just the obnoxious stuff like Cybertrucks. I'm talking about regular. So the new report analyzed actual data from insurance companies and accident reports to come up with a definitive list of the best and worst drivers by vehicle brand, and here are the results. BMW, Ram, and Tesla have the worst drivers. Across the country, BMW drivers had nearly 45 incidents per 1,000 drivers, Mark, throughout the past year. That includes accidents, DUIs, speeding, and citations. So BMW people, you were considered the worst. Tesla is the 3rd worst and being the worst overall a year ago. Ram also 2nd a year ago. On the flip side, Chrysler, Cadillac, and Mercury have the best drivers. Chrysler drivers had 26 incidents per 1,000 drivers nationally, the lowest rate among the major brands. And so I wanted to know, why are the BMW drivers the worst? And I found something in the top 5 reasons that BMW drivers are the worst.
All right.
It's hard to see the road through the cloud of Axe body spray. Okay, there's always a rush to make an Imagine Dragons concert, okay?
Yes.
The faster they drive, the more the wind whips their transplants, their hair transplants.
Oh.
Yeah. What's the point of wearing fingerless driving gloves if they're not going to copy Ryan Gosling and drive?
Really?
The I in 328i or 328i stands for insufferable. That's why they think the clutch is like a collar on a polo shirt. It's meant to be popped. They try staying on the road whether they're always checking their crypto balance. And that's hard. It's hard to do.
It is potato day.
Yeah, there you go.
Hot and spicy food day and soft ice cream day.
Yes, all of that. Do want to remind you this hour has been brought to you by First Steps Home Services. At First Steps Home Services, they believe that every home should be a sanctuary. And that's why Will Bennett and his team are making sure that emergency repairs, renovations, remodeling, repairs, improvements, and assembly on anything having to do with your home is something that they pride themselves in doing right, completed to your satisfaction, and always answering your phone to make sure your concerns are addressed person to person. That's what they're all about. And they're a father-led general consulting group, which is ready to do a job for you right now. Why don't you give them a call today and find out what they can do for you at 443-822-1739. Will Bennett and the good people at First Steps Home Services, they're open right now, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. First Steps Home Services at gmail.com or call them 443-822-1739. Have a great day, everyone. Revs are on tonight at 6:10. I'm Gary Sutton. It's 9 o'clock.